Okay, so we'll take a moment, take a deep breath. Here we go. Buzz in round question 1. What purpose does the reflective response play in reflective listening? What purpose does that last skill, reflective response, play?
Hey, this is Morgan. The reflective response lets the other person know that you heard their whole message.
Lets them know that you heard them. Thank you, Morgan. Anyone else? Anyone like to layer on?
Yes, this is Kristen. It's specifically sending back facts and feelings.
Love that, adding those specifics. I hear what you said and I hear what it means to you. Terrific. Anyone else?
This is Julie. And it gives the opportunity if that person either didn't deliver the message in the way that it was more likely to be heard, or it wasn't heard the way they were hoping it would be, it gives a chance for realignment and reconnecting.
Terrific. I hear you saying that it allows the person to hear what they said and what they felt in a way they may not really even be aware of. Terrific. Okay, you guys you got this. This is exciting. All right, why is questioning an ineffective strategy or action when you're reflectively listening? Why do we say questioning is not a good thing to do?
So this is Lola. It's because it stops the flow of thought, and it also usually ends up creating something for the person who's asking the question. They're leading it in the direction they want to go rather than the direction the person speaking wants to go.
Okay, okay, I love it, I love it. I hear you saying that it moves the ownership of the conversation to the person who's supposed to be listening. Anyone else? Thoughts about questions?
This is Gina.
Hey, Gina.
To me, questioning also puts you in resolution mode for the other person's problem, and that may not be what is needed. So you're kind of taking it into a space that may not be needed. Your questioning may be communicating an unintended message, taking you out of listener stance, and it may be viewed as controlling. Sarah, if you're on the Facebook OCL Facebook page, Sarah shared a message around how it said our help is not usually helpful. Our help is often toxic. Help is the sunny side of control. And I thought that demonstrated that questioning and that data mining, that we may be viewing ourselves as helpful and trying to resolve, but it's really taking control and ownership of a dialogue that needs to be that if we're in truly reflective listening mode, that it needs to stay with the talker and not become what we feel it needs to be, and what is our motivation around being helpful.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. The sunny side of control. Let me share that with my husband. She's a high D. Any other thoughts? That was pretty comprehensive. Well, okay, guys. I'm ready to teach with you people. Okay, here we go. Are you ready for the talk to me round? Larry, I'm turning it over to you.
I've been kind of listening, thank you, Marcia, and noting some of the people who haven't spoken yet. Barbara, are you on the phone this morning?
I am feeling under pressure
Would
already.
you be under pressure? You bet, you bet. You're on the hot seat. Help us here. Give us some insight. What role does the disruptive dilemma play in the reflective listening learning experience?
I'm not remembering this one clearly.
Okay. All right, let's flesh it out a little bit. It is a tough one. Thank you, Marcia. We provide the question. There's 4 statements we make about listening that people often disagree with. And we then propose the idea that listening is the most helpful thing we could do above asking questions or telling our own story. This is a disruptive dilemma for people because it's way different than their experiences. They have not engaged probably in participating in just those 4 things and following that when they're with someone who has a problem. And so it's disruptive and it's anxious for them. And so the question here is, why do we do that to people? Why do we put them in that box that they may disagree with what we're saying? So that's the role that disruptive dilemma would play. How does that flesh out in the learning experience?
Well, I think primarily because sometimes when the person who's supposed to be listening should be listening, they're really trying to help the other person solve a problem. And it's really quite a unique experience for those because they feel like this person is coming to me for help and I have to fix it. And that's not really the goal. And so people are very anxious to want to jump right in and help them problem solve. And really, we're just supposed to be taking a very different role and just helping them get through their own experience. And ultimately, at the end, solving their own problem. And just really helping them to kind of come into balance and with the logic and get their emotions in check. So this way they can be in a more stable place to think and be rational in their thinking. Just getting through some of that emotion. So it's a different place that most people don't normally tend to be in, right? So they want to solve the problems for folks.
Thank you. Thank you. You've given us a great case for why we would listen. I appreciate that. I think that's going to come through in your facilitation. That reason why we would want to listen and help people in that way. Let me open it up to the rest of the group. There may have been some thoughts that got triggered, and we'll kind of pose it from this angle. Why as a way that we have crafted this course, why do we put people through this disruptive dilemma in order to help them learn? What's the connection there? Anyone else on that?
Yeah, this is John Jay.
Oh, who is that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is John Jay. So I just think in terms of being able to role model the behavior for the participants. So for me, this was one of my many aha moments during the course. And as Kaki might tell you, he and I we butted heads a lot over this particular slide. And for me, it was the aha moment. Oh, he has been modeling this behavior through this, and I mean from the very beginning, but especially as we were all being disrupted and our belief systems were being challenged, and man, I knew the answer to these slides, and there was only one no, and that was ask questions. And as we continued to talk, and he listened and let the class kind of work it out, it was just neat to see the dynamic, how we letting people figure the stuff out on their own versus the facilitator saying, nope, you're wrong and here's why. So to me, it was set up really nicely that not only did we work out the answer for ourselves, but that the facilitator demonstrated that active listening, not trying to push his own agenda on us, letting us get to where we needed to be.
I love the way you said that at the end, not pushing his own agenda and letting you go where you need to go. And that's really a pivotal thing, pivotal idea that we have with this, is we do want to disrupt their thinking in order to get the wheels turning, not to the point where they can't think, but to the point where they'll reevaluate. So thank you for that, John. That was very, very insightful. Thank you. Let's go to the next question. And I am going to call on Lisa. Lisa, we have some behaviors of listening. It's in the blue box and it's got 5 bullet points, and we go through that, and then there's a big circle around that. Flesh us in, Lisa, if you would, on the behaviors of listening.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
when you look at the 5 behaviors, you have, I'm going to list them and then I'll go back and go into more detail. You have attending behavior, acknowledgement, door openers, silence, and reflectively respond. On attending behavior, without even looking at the definition, all of us know what that feels like. I can say with my husband, if I'm talking to him and he's on his phone or on his computer, he is not fully present to me. It's a matter of your body positioning. Do you have direct eye contact with that person? Are you modeling the way they sit? That's attending behavior. And acknowledgement. Acknowledgements are pretty much just an understanding. I am listening to you, whether it's a nod of the head, whether it's an uh-huh. It's nothing worse than talking to somebody and they're completely silent and you're questioning whether that person is listening to you or not. The next one are door openers. Door openers are not questions. They're just letting you know I'm listening. I'm encouraging you. Tell me more. This is what I hear you saying. I'm letting you know I want to hear more of what you're talking about. I'm giving you encouragement to speak further. And the next one is silence. And silence can be very difficult because silence is exactly what it says. You're being silent. You're silencing your mind, your internal. You're silencing your external. You're turning off the phone. You're turning off the TV. You're turning off anything that disrupts the conversation from happening. And when I say conversation, when you are silent, you are still having a conversation. And last is reflectively respond. You need to convey to that person talking that you understood what they said. And you do that by expressing that you heard the facts and you got their feelings. Oftentimes you can do that by saying, this is what I heard you said. So if you do those 5 things, attending behavior, acknowledgement, door opener, silence, and reflectively respond, then you have successfully done all the behaviors of listening. That's it.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. My goodness. I hope you guys, everyone else was taking notes. You brought out a lot of nuance that is really pivotal. So thank you for that. You noted the importance of silence and how difficult it can be. That was an excellent review. I think you covered it well, and I think we're going to go on to the next question. Marcia, do you have anything to add to that?
I
Nope.
would just,
Okay.
I would say you did a wonderful job answering that question. When we think about behaviors, there's one more that envelops all of them. And it actually can be displayed as a nonverbal behavior. Anyone for bonus points want to answer what is that one thing?
Empathy.
Yeah, baby.
All right, thank you. That's pivotal. That's pivotal. Heather, are you on the phone?
I am on the phone. I'm going to confess ahead of time, I got in very late from a vacation and I've had about 2 hours of sleep and I have not prepped. So I will do my best.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Would you like to pass? I'll give you grace on that. Or would you like to take a shot?
Yeah, if you would give me grace, that would be fantastic. I simply really wanted to. I was listening in and I would graciously do 2 answers next week or Thursday.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We will let you pass it. Thank you for participating in the call despite your lack of sleep. Hats off to you. Thank you. Thank you. Jamie, you did not have a lot of time to speak this morning as concierge, so I want to give you a chance here. Are you available to speak?
Yes, I am.
All right. We show a little short video with Gibbs and Abby, and we got the little circle, and there's a line in the middle, and the line goes up and down, and we talk about logic and motion. Give us a 2-minute overview of what we're trying to communicate. Explain to us logic and emotion.
Okay, so logic and emotion, logic tends to be more what your thoughts are, and emotion is what you're feeling. And it's really important to have a balance of both of those when you are communicating. And sometimes when we're overwhelmed by emotion, we're not able to process rationally or hear new information. And sometimes it impacts our ability to think logically. And so it's important to let some of those emotions out. I really love the analogy of the plug and thinking of it as, it's just building up too much and you need to just pull that plug and let some of those emotions out so that you can regain that balance and then begin to have the conversation and really communicate with one another. That way the emotions don't create unnecessary things that might be hurtful to one another.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. That is a great summary. This is this little series of logic and emotion as you go through it is a great tool that a lot of people really walk away with. It's interesting, people who's taken the course 2 or 3 years later, they'll remember the 3 circles. And so it's something that really can connect with people. Jamie, you did a great job of connecting those two and bringing to the surface just some of the things that we need to keep in mind as facilitators. I think you covered that very well. There's a lot to say about logic and emotion. It is a deep subject, but we can cover, just like you did, the high level view and help people understand how they're related and how emotion can affect their ability to reason. Marcia, do you have anything to add to this Talk to Me round at all?
Not at all. Not at all. I agree.
And
It's such an
it's time for us
important
to
run.
move to the next section. So that looks like we're right on track. Thanks.
Yay. Thank you,
All right,
Lindsay.
thank you.
Terrific. Thank you,
I'm going to
Larry,
be here,
very,
but I'm
very
going to
much.
disappear.
Super. And thanks everyone for stepping in. The Talk to Me round is a little challenging. Might throw you in one of those upper zones of disruption. Any thoughts on those questions? Those are really good questions, substantive, as we think about moving into the reflective listening module. Was there an insight? Was there a takeaway? I would offer you the opportunity to help us learn from you and help us learn from each other.
This is Jules. The clip from NCIS and what was just discussed a moment ago, what that really highlights for me is the interdependence of this work. That in this, we weren't asking one person to remove their own plug. Of course, that's a desired thing, that we can have that self-responsibility. But by a skilled partner in this transaction of communication, we can help that person get to a place of equilibrium. Even if we have our own stuff going on, if we can hold that space of listening, we can help them get to a place of balance, therefore creating more connection. So that interdependence to me was the biggest takeaway from that.
Beautiful, beautiful. And your description of listening as that gift we can give. As you said, even if I've got stuff going on, I can create that space. Thank you. Any other thoughts?
This is Heather. I can at least contribute here. I am always reminded when we cover this stuff. I coach on the side, and so I always struggle and butt up against the questioning piece of this. But a couple of you just really touched again on that importance of listening and kind of not trying to solve the problem. And so it's always just a really good reminder for me that there is a time and a place for questions, but not within the reflective listening portion. And I'm just acknowledging my own struggle with it sometimes.
I am hugging you right now because same struggle, and it's exactly right. There's a time and place, but the first stop is to pull that plug and let people talk and really listen. Thank you. Any other thoughts really quickly, and we'll move on, because I know our speakers are ready.
I just want to share that going back to this has been one of my largest ahas is about the need to not data mine and question and resolve. And I felt like I've been working on it for myself, and that it actually puts me in a more vulnerable space, because it questioning, I realized for me, was a barrier to having to actually sit in that empathetic space, specifically with my daughter, who she just wants to share, and I immediately go into solution, which stops me from feeling any kind of emotion about what she's struggling with, and worry and stress. And so it was a big aha moment to say, she needs you just to sit in space with her and not resolve it. And your resolution isn't about her, that it's about you, about me. And so it's just been a really big aha.
That's terrific. And as adults, you know, right, we want to control. That's what we get paid for. That's where our value is as a mom or a dad. I love that. I love that. Thank you for reminding us. I think we can all take that. Thank you. Okay.